Hello. It's a pretty little tune, isn't it? So I'm doing some doodling at the moment. I doodle a lot because it helps me think. And I've actually been thinking about two events that have happened in the last few days which have prompted this thought for the day. The first thing that happened was that I got an email, probably along with many others, reminding me that next week, from the 10th of May, it's Christian Aid Week. And I thought, oh well, good luck with that. I mean, how on earth are you going to put envelopes out and collect money in these times of lockdown? And then reading the email a bit further, I saw that actually Christian Aid Week this year is completely digital. I still thought, good luck with that, because you're competing with so many people asking for money at the moment. We've had it on television, haven't we? You know, there's that Comic Relief, Christian Aid, Combined Effort, and then even things like dear old Captain Tom raising money for the NHS and doing so brilliantly. So I think Christian Aid is really going to struggle this year. And I remember seeing that charity income generally is down 85%, and there are many charities that are asking the government for help. And it's really ironic, I think, that these charities won't be able to do anything for the very people they set out to help, the vulnerable and the poor. Now, speaking of poverty, the other thing that has prompted this thought is that I was rummaging through my cupboards the other day looking for something, didn't find it, but I did come across this. It's the score for a Christian musical called Hopes and Dreams. And it was something that we were going to do back in the day with St. James Players. It was written in the late 1990s. So if you're a millennial, all of this will be ancient history, but if you're over 30, you may remember that during the 90s there was a huge campaign called Make Poverty History, where there was an attempt to get the world governments to write off all third world debt. Didn't happen. But this musical, Hopes and Dreams, was written to highlight that debt problem. And it's actually a series of sketches and songs and dance. It's all based around the Lord's Prayer. In fact, the one song that everybody will know that came out of that musical was the Millennium Prayer, which is Cliff Richard's last number one in this country in the year 2000. And if you remember, it's the words of the Lord's Prayer sung to the tune of Auld Lang Syne. Since the year 2000, of course, there's a lot of water's gone under the bridge. We've had all sorts of events like 9/11. There have been several wars, tsunamis, fires, Brexit, and in those 20 odd years there is still a huge debt crisis in developing countries. I looked it up and I found out that countries like Lebanon and Argentina have already defaulted on their debt repayments this year, and Ecuador, Zambia, Ghana, Angola and the Yemen aren't far behind them. It's surprising that even rich countries like Italy face such serious debt crisis that it threatens to pull down the whole of the Eurozone economy. And all of this is before we'd even heard of COVID-19. And the IMF were warning at the beginning of the year that 34 countries had serious debt distress and another 82 were at risk. And I was thinking that not being able to fund basic health care because of debt repayments is a crisis. And there are more than 60 countries struggling to build a basic health system, even at the best of times, let alone in the middle of a global pandemic. For example, Burkina Faso has got just 11 ventilators for 19 million people. Mozambique has no intensive care provision whatsoever. And Sierra Leone has just one doctor for every 50,000 people. So the fact that more than 20 years have passed since the campaign to stamp out poverty started, and the fact that there's still a permanent debt crisis, is a really damning indictment of our global economy. And it's not simply the impact of coronavirus that's created this crisis. Rather, the pandemic has exposed once again what a crisis-prone and unsustainable world economy we have. And the present estimate of developing country debt is standing at the moment around $2.3 trillion. Now, this country is quite rightly spending money like water to handle the COVID-19 crisis and to sustain us, the population. I think I heard the Chancellor say that he was prepared to borrow up to 16% of our GDP, which is huge, it's enormous. It's the highest ever borrowing in peacetime. Certainly it's much higher than it's been at any time since the last war, which is quite ironic, isn't it? Ironic that we're going to be celebrating VE Day on Friday. And whatever happens now, it's going to take us years to recover financially. And we're by no means alone. There are many countries, probably virtually every country in the world is doing the same thing. So my question is this: if we can, with a stroke of the pen, write off billions of pounds of debt in the NHS, we can underwrite business loans and create furlough schemes, if we can spend billions on PPE and testing kits, then surely at world level another couple of $1 trillion to cancel out world debt won't make much difference at all. Because after all, when the world comes out of this, we'll all be broke. And if there's one good thing to come out of this virus, one thing to remember all the people who've died, then let that good thing be the wiping out of the debt that keeps so many developing countries in extreme poverty. Lots of people say that the world will be changed forever, and using the modern vernacular, we will have a new normal. And maybe we all need to re-evaluate the way that we do things If we say that when this is all over, we're not going to go back to business as usual, then let's really mean it. I did threaten I was going to do a sketch from Hopes and Dreams, and I apologise in advance for the voices, but the sketch is called Banking on Trouble, and before that I'll do a little prayer link that goes with it, and then to end the video I'll play a song that also goes with the sketch, which is called One More Nail. So thank you for watching. Lord of the universe, you stride among the galaxies and view the endless train of planets shining to infinity. Yet one tiny light, tinged with blue, stands out from all the rest. For this was home to you the day you left your paradise, traded your cloak of stars for a wooden cross, exchanged power for powerlessness, heaven for earth, bliss for pain. Remember us this day and give us our daily bread, that we might have enough and to share. Amen.
Thank you for calling West of England Bank. Your call is very important to us. For balance enquiries, please press 1. To make a payment, press 2. If you wish to speak to a customer advisor, press 3.
Hello, it's Beverly speaking. How may I help you?
Hello Beverly, my love. It's about this letter that I received this morning. I took out a loan a while ago and I've just had my first statement, and I think there may have been a mistake because it seems that I owe the bank a lot more than I realised.
May I have your name and the first line of your address, please?
Yes, it's Jones, Henry Jones, 23 Acacia Avenue.
And could I have the last 4 figures of your account number, please?
Yes, it's 7632.
Okay, Mr. Jones, let me see. Ah, yes. I have you on the screen now, Mr. Jones. 23 Acacia Avenue. That's right, isn't it? Now, I can see that you owe the bank just over £3.4 billion. Is that not right?
No, it's not. I took out a loan for a new conservatory and some central heating. That's all.
Let me just check our records. Oh, I see. According to this file, you wanted to build a hydroelectric power station and dam a major river.
But I live in a semi-detached house in Mangotsfield.
Which also makes me wonder why you wanted to build an international airport when you live in Bristol.
Well, I don't want to build an airport. There's obviously been some terrible mistake. I can't have spent £3.4 billion.
Well, did you fritter the money away on jet fighters and surface-to-air missiles?
No. I just drive a 10-year-old Volvo estate.
Well, let me check again. Now then, it's 23 Acacia Avenue, Africa.
No, it's 23 Acacia Avenue, Mangotsfield. It's nowhere near Africa.
I think I know what's happened. We've accidentally muddled your loan up with a country like Uganda.
Oh, so it's all been a terrible mistake then?
I'll say there's a house somewhere in Kampala with a nice double glazed Neo-Georgian conservatory and a very efficient back boiler.
But what am I going to do about the £3.4 billion I owe?
How about coffee?
Well, no thank you, I'd rather sort this out. And anyway, I'm on the phone. How are you going to give me a cup of coffee?
No, sir. I was suggesting that you grow coffee as a cash crop to raise money to pay off your debt. Now, we've recommended that strategy to lots of countries in your position.
But if lots of countries are growing coffee as a cash crop, doesn't that mean
That there's so much coffee, the price is kept low and you won't get much cash for your crop.
that's right?
But it does mean that I can buy coffee very cheaply in my local supermarket, so it's not all bad news. Have you got any forests?
Well, I got an apple tree.
Well then, chop it down and sell the wood. It's a quick way of raising money to help pay off the debt. Or maybe you could cut back on luxuries.
What kind of luxuries?
Well, things like education and healthcare, that kind of thing. There are dozens of ways to pay back debt. After all, it's not as though we expect you to pay it back all in one go. About £184 million a year should do the trick just nicely.
I can't afford that.
Of course you can. We'll lend you the money if you like.
Oh dear, this is madness. It's just ludicrous.
It's been economic policy for decades. We lend countries like 23 Acacia Avenue vast sums of money, and you spend the money on huge engineering projects you don't usually need, and you build up your military might with the latest whiz-bang technology. Don't feel guilty about it. The money goes to provide work for thousands of people.
Oh good, that's all right then.
Well, admittedly, most of those people live in Europe and America. But how else are we going to earn enough money to lend it to you in the first place?
Now, listen. Unless you sort out this fiscal fiasco straight away, I'm going to be bankrupt.
Oh, no you won't be, sir. Because under international law, a country can't be declared bankrupt.
Now look, this situation is just ridiculous. My family could be paying off this loan forever and ever. Isn't there something we can do to make everything okay?
Well, I suppose you could apply for emergency aid. But for every pound you receive in aid, you'll be paying back 3 on your loan.
But I only took out a loan in the first place so I could make things better around my home. How could everything have gone so terribly wrong?
I have heard that there's a campaign to get governments and banks to cancel international debt. You know, wipe the slate clean and let everybody start afresh. Campaign's been running for years.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. Do you think it'll happen?
Well, only if enough people demand that it does. The trouble is that so many people have a vested interest in keeping things just as they are.
I know. I'm going to write to my MP, because he'll be on my side.
I wouldn't count on it.
Why not? He's my elected representative after all.
Yes, but he's also on the bank's board of directors. Hello, Mr. Jones? Hello? Hello? Mr. Jones, are you still there? Hello?
She is lost in the wilderness, helpless, abandoned, afraid. She is a stranger to mercy, an outcast to hope and to love. She is one more tear in the angel's eyes, one more life to be lost, one more child who will starve and die, one more nail in the cross. We're so sorry to tell her there are two different worlds. There's no more we can do. She was born in the wrong time and place. We're sorry the price of compassion, oh, that's more than her life is worth. She is one more tear in the angel's eyes, one more life to be lost, one more child who is stormed to die, one more nail in the cross. One more tear in the angel's eyes, one more life to be lost, one more child who is born to die, one